saying. You tell me what you like about...
You're a man who speaks his mind. You're a man who speaks his
I'm
mind.
an honest man.
Yeah.
I'm a truthful man.
So what do you think
Not like the BBC who keep pissing out the same 60 seconds over 24 hours. Or fucking... No, let's not leave it at one side. You want to talk to me, I'll talk to you.
Okay, what's your beef with the BBC then?
My beef with the BBC? Are you joking?
No, tell me what's your beef with the BBC?
Well, I don't like the way the BBC are not reporting correctly. They're not going to the people. You're talking to me now, but your colleague here has been, like I said, he's like a hawk on my shoulder. Was you at the bank yesterday as well? I think he was at the bank. Every time I started an interview, and I represent the lower working class culture, all right? And every time I had an interview, I got the BBC over my shoulder, or I got Sky over my shoulder. Why can't you go and talk to the people?
We talk to people.
Yeah, well, you're talking to me now, but, you know, only because I give you a right bollock in the pair of you. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, you're not exactly... See my camera woman here?
Yep.
She piss all over both of you. You know what I mean? So you're talking to me, and you're talking to me because this is a job. Are you interested in the lower working classes dilemma? So what? So do you think that the lower working class culture, 6 public houses a day closing down, and these public houses where the lower working class culture used to talk about the BBC and how pissy you were, not representing us, and what politicians that we would vote for, what schools we would send our children to. Now we can't get CAT scans, we can't get dentists, and we got Gordon Brown over there, a Scotsman, an unelected Prime Minister. You never talk about that. And when you've got people like Jackie Smith who are watching hardcore pornography, you develop a language for them and you call it adult entertainment. And then when you talk to us as the working classes, it's pornographic literature. Our kids who are wearing hoods, you want to lock them up. We've also got children in care at the moment, not young offenders, children in care whose parents have been killed or for whatever reason they're in care. Now you can control them, we are allowed to control them with what is called nose distraction. So we can punch a kid on the nose, but you won't go and punch a fucking banker on the nose. You understand it? So the BBC is not reporting anything that represents the people of this country.
Well, that's an important point to make. It's an important
well,
point
hey, I'm on one then, you know what I mean?
Let me go. What's your second point?
My second point, I think there was more than one point in there, weren't there?
Quite a few.
Yeah, there were quite a few points in there, and that's what we are, we're comprehensive. So because we've got like a Cockney accent, like I'm a Cockney speaking Irishman, you lot seem to think we're stupid. If you haven't got a degree, you can't become a social worker. And the BBC
I don't think many people think that.
Look, the BBC, well, where do you come from? You want to get out a little bit more, because a lot of people do think it.
Well, I don't think that.
Listen, I don't want to sound like Bob Crow here, mate, but the working classes in this country are downtrodden. All those people who are up there making all that money, hang on, darling, where do you think they get all that money from? We can't all sell. Some of us have to produce.
So what you're saying is there's a real sense of anger amongst the working class, basically.
Well, you can hear it in me, can't you?
Yeah, you're angry.
Now, who represents the working classes? What, me, Bill Maloney, and fucking Billy Bragg? Is that it? And our actors, the only actors you show, we're perpetually seeing that EastEnders shit that no one can relate to. You got to say fuck, cunt and bollocks, because that is our culture. And even it wasn't so long ago, a judge actually said, if it is part of a person's culture to swear, then that's it. What are you going to do? You're going to say to Muslims you're not allowed to pray to fucking Mecca? Or
you've been brought up around here, yeah?
No, I was brought up in Brixton, Peckham and Lewisham.
Right.
Yeah, and I am of Irish descent. So I know all about the brutality of this establishment, and by the time I was 20, I'm a film director now, fortunately, so I'm a right pain in the fucking arse for the establishment, ain't I? Because I'm an award-winning film director. Now, they don't like that. And I served 14 years in this country's institutions by the time I was 20, brought about by my parents' alcoholism, and they was Irish people who came over here, you know what I mean? And then our families were taken into care, the children, and absolutely abused, you know what I mean? I've got 3 members of my family that killed themselves while they was in care in this country, you know what I mean? So we don't like our children in this country. The island of Jersey is owned by the Crown. The Queen is taking no responsibility for it. It's her tax haven. So this is all shit. This ain't going on. This ain't, you and your mate here are going to be sitting there fucking watching this tonight while you're drinking a beer.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not wasting my time talking to you. I think it's a good point you're making.
Oh no, but who's going to see it? Are we going to broadcast this? Hang on, are we going to broadcast this? Say in front of these people, you promised me you're going to broadcast this.
It depends on
ain't going to happen, is it?
It depends whether you run the story tonight. That's what it depends on. But it's a good point.
You make a few quid out of it.
Get your name.
Bill Maloney. Give this man a card.
Have you got? Yeah, you got a card. You got contact number.
Yeah, mate. I've got to do it all now. It's not you, Tate, so I really get fucked top of the BBC. You know exactly what I'm talking about as well.
We do know, but you know, do we explain who we work for?
No.
We're Newsnight. We're not like 60 seconds. You know, you have a good point about 60 seconds. For Newsnight, you know, it's 5-minute pieces. It's much.
Well, who you
much
work?
more.
Well, that's fair enough. You know what I mean? But he made me a promise. You don't promise people nothing in this business.
That may be true.
No, that is true. Not maybe. Don't get political. You know what I mean? That's like, oh, that's possibly right. That's probably right. You know, that is true. You know what I mean?
You got an email address on yours,
I've been thrown out of the BBC and everything just for speaking the truth. The BBC don't like the truth. You're sucking the cock of the establishment, and that is it. And you get £3.4 billion off of the people of this country every year. 3.4 billion. What good work? Tell me what good work you've done recently. You show. If anyone wants to see anything about the war, they go to the old Jazeera. They don't go to the fucking BBC, mate. Anyway, I hope you have a safe day. Okay?